I got my pocket of shade over here. What is the story behind my soccer jersey? So this is my soccer jersey. It's pre-2007, so I stopped playing in 2006. The season, so that was a summer/fall sport. Yeah, my youth recreational league, and so it overlapped with my first swim season for the high school, and it was I found it to be a lot, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it after that. So I did just 1 year overlapping with high school, and I started in 1998. So I played 1998 through 2006, which was 9 seasons. And then I also did a year of indoor soccer. But I'm talking about the jersey for Hillwood Soccer Club or Soccer League. And then in Hillwood Soccer Club, there were a bunch of different teams and we'd play each other, that kind of thing. And my team was the Dragonflys. And when we were about approximately 10 years old, we finally got to settle on numbers. I think we actually settled a little bit before then. Like, so what happened was it was all over the place when we were little and we were all playing all positions. We kind of came to favor certain numbers. And then we were about 10 years old and we were getting our like formal jerseys. And we were like, does anybody want to change numbers and stuff? And since we were all about 10 years old, a number of us wanted the number 10 because we were 10 years old. And so somebody else got 10, somebody got 11, because they were like, well, if we're not 10, we're going to be 11 next year. So then they went with 11, and I was just like, all right, I'll go down. I'll go to 9. So I went with 9. And that was my number for the remaining, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 years or whatever. And so this was actually, I was a plump one in middle school. I got up to 160 some pounds, which is a good 30 to 40 pounds heavier than I am now. Not 40, but like 30 to 35 pounds heavier than I am now. And so this was my jersey. I was also a bit shorter. And then in high school as a freshman, I was about 129, 130 pounds. And I was maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches shorter than I am now. So this still fits. And so that's the story behind my number, which is kind of it was the big deal when we got the jerseys. You know, the colors are Hillwood Soccer Club colors. This was the standard jersey. So this was like, you know, 1980s and before, like the lightning bolt and the marigold yellow and black and stuff. Maybe J.K. Rowling copied, you know, Hillwood Soccer Club, kind of thing. This existed before the Harry Potter series. I think possibly before I was born, early to mid 1990s. I existed before the Harry Potter series, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, that's the colors is just, it's our league colors. We also had, in addition to, so that was our uniform, and we also had uniform socks. So these are what the socks look like. We were black and gold, marigold gold kind of. Yeah, but I still fit into this. I'm taller, even if approximately the same weight to a little bit more than I was as a freshman in high school. So it fits differently, it wears differently than it did back then. How does this contrast with the numbers I got in different sports? So we didn't do numbers in summer league swimming, which I did 12 years, 12 seasons of competition through. In high school swim and dive, we checked out a bag with numbers, with a number on it each year. I think I went for the number like 27 or 127 or something like that a couple times. So that was kind of grab a bag and that's the number. That was also how it worked when I ran middle distance in track and field. And then 2 more sports, water polo. So high school in summer league water polo and high school water polo, the numbers were different. In summer league water polo, it was kind of grab a cap and go with that number. And I think I ended up using the number 4 a fair amount during summer league, but it wasn't an assigned number. And then in high school water polo, we got to choose our numbers. So if somebody wanted the same number as somebody else, then they would go duke it out for whoever got that number. And I was number 2. And the goalie was number 1. And everybody was like, well, doesn't everybody want number 1? And I was like, I don't like the number 1. Okay, I like number 2. And nobody else wanted the number 2. So that's how I got my number in water polo for high school. But it was I had the same number for both years I competed. And then the last one is rugby at the University of Washington. So that was a club sport, but intercollegiate. So like we even traveled to Oregon to compete kind of thing. And we competed against the University of Oregon. Like, so it was out intercollegiate competition in club versus like intramural is competition from teams from the same school. So we competed against other schools. So it was club intercollegiate. And for that one, I was weak side flanker, and the international standard for that number is 6. So my number, even if it were to change, I would still stick with the number 6 and stick with my weak side flanker position. Yeah, which is, I guess, a tangent. And a tangent is my Jerome has started a international governing bodies organizations, that's agency, to compete with current international governing bodies in sports specific, so not all international governing bodies like countries, no, sports, sorry, specify, and to kind of take them to school a bit, the organizations that have violated the human rights of countries they've banned without doing the due follow through, so they've neglected and harassed and violated people's rights, and so I might be back to swimming quicker if Jerome is my soulmate and stuff, and if he can get competitions out there that, well, World Aquatics / FINA, your turn to compete on the international governing body for sports arena. And since they're not neutral, it's a pretty, just be neutral, right? Well, Jerome is at least trying. Same cannot be said for World Aquatics. In World Athletics, it's exact same, if not worse. So I don't run for those competitions, nor do or those organizations or other competitions, nor do I aspire to be going through my Jerome and his international governing bodies in sports, and those if I pursue running or swimming or something like that down the road. I have a self-ban in swimming going on, so I guess that's a status update. If I have a soulmate named Jerome, it's true, he also has been working on, well, let's get culture change and let's get swimming competitions that care about getting distances right and being truly neutral, not pretending to be and then violating human rights. So that's a tangent of, I guess, what did the digression end up being? It's not a digression, it's a tangent. Status update on my swimming self-ban. It might come down sooner than one thinks, especially if Jerome's my soulmate and I live with him. But maybe it will be running first. Anyway, that's the story behind this jersey, a tangent, and kind of how numbering worked in different sports I competed in growing up. Happy Sunday, 23 July 2023.